continuing with our translation of the Aeneid, we're about to hear Juno speak for the first time. Vix e conspectu siculae telurus in altum vela dabant laeti. Subject is, laeti is agreeing with the subject. Here's our main verb. Hardly out of sight of the Sicilian land, they happy, were setting sail into the deep sea. Et spumas salis aere ruebant, and they were plowing the foam of the salt with bronze. That's a literal translation. This is a metaphor for sailing, comparing sailing to plowing, like the prow of your ship is bronze and your plow is bronze, and the foam of the sea is like the furrows of glebe that you overturn with the plow. So they were plowing the foam of the salt with bronze. They were sailing. Cum uniternum servan sub pectore volnus haec secum, when Juno, preserving or keeping in her breast, under her breast, maybe the eternal wound, those agree with together, haec secum, these things with herself. And you have to understand some verb of speaking. Here she goes. Main incepto de sistere victam, nec positalia teu crora vertere regem. Okay, so this here is one of our main verbs, as is this, joined by that guy. This infinitive is a complementary infinitive with this guy. So why are they infinitives? Because this is an exclamatory question. It's a question, not an exclamation, but it's an indignant rhetorical question. So in other words, the infinitives mean that she's pissed off. And infinitives, as you know, take accusative subjects. So there is the subject, the infinitive. This also agrees with the subject may, accusative, feminine, singular. Okay, so it goes something like, that I conquered, desist from the thing begun. So this is a perfect passive participle, a thing having been begun, and it's an ablative of separation. So you could translate it colloquially like, the fact that I have to cease conquered from my beginning, and am not able to turn the king of the Trojans, away from Italy. That's a, oopsies, hey, watch what you're doing there. That's an ablative of separation. Indignant question. Quipet vetor fatis. This also is indignant and somewhat ironic. Obviously, I am prevented by the fates. Here, Juno is like, how can this be that I'm prevented by the fates? Juno, the wife of the king of the gods. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, Pallas nexurere classam argivat quipsos potuit submergere ponto unius obnoxet furias aiacis olei. Pallas was able to burn the fleet of the Argives, that's Argivorum, and to submerge the men themselves in the ocean on account of the injury and madnesses, it's plural there, of one man, a positive, Ajax, the son of Oileus. This is also an indirect indignant question, right? Like, Pallas was allowed to do this? Was she allowed to do that because of one man? Ipsa iovis rapidum jaculate nubibus ignem disye kitque rates, evertit quaequora ventis il expirantem transfixo pectore flammas. She herself, having hurled, that's a perfect deponent participle, having hurled the Jove's swift fire from the clouds, the swift fire of Jove that comes out of the clouds is lightning. So she herself did it, Pallas did, that's Athena. Disye kitque rates, and dashed apart the ships and overturned the seas with winds, like made the seas choppy by bringing up a storm, which is something that Zeus is supposed to be able to do, and here Pallas is doing it herself. How come she gets to do that? Il expirantem transfixo pectore flammas, turbine corripuit. That man, that's Ajax, that man breathing out from his transfixed breast flames, she caught up in a whirlwind, scopulo quin fixit acuto, and transfixed him upon a sharp rock. Ouchie. Astego, this is a very strong adversative there. But I, so the sense you're probably already getting is like, how come Pallas gets to do that? She gets to kill this one man and burn a fleet and do all that stuff just because of one person's transgressions. But I, quae vince, blah, astego quae vince do regina jovisque et soror et conjunx. But I, who walk as queen, this is something like a positive to quae, as queen of the gods, that's a divorum, and of Jupiter, both sister and wife, una cum gente tot annos bella gero, I wage wars with one race for so many years. That's an ablative of duration of time. Et quisquam numen unonus adoret praeterea. And who would honor the godhead of Juno further? This is like hereafter. Adoro, that's a present subjunctive, so that's like potential subjunctive there. Who would adore? Aut supplex aris imponet honorem, or place upon my altars an honor gift as a suppliant. So, or as a suppliant, this is modifying the subject of imponet, which is the same subject as adorat. So it's like who, as a suppliant, would place an honor gift on my altars. But this is impono, ponere, so this is now future. So we've moved from adoro, unless I'm wrong about this verb, adorare, right? So that's present subjunctive, and this is future. So who would adore and as a suppliant will place honor on my altars. So she's becoming more vivid by moving from the subjunctive into the future there, which just shows that she's getting angrier and angrier. End first speech of Juno.